Welcome to In Progress, a podcast to help you grow and learn how to become a better version of yourself. Now, here's your host, Michael Cirigliano.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of In Progress. I'm your host, Michael Cirigliano. Today, we're going to take a softer approach from the typical aggressive, high-energy podcast that I usually have. I had a viewer reach out to me a few days ago regarding what to do with his depression. And I appreciate that you found solace in speaking to me and going through your issue. And I asked him after we were done if he'd be okay that I share that he reached out. Obviously, I'm not going to say any names or anything, but it is a private matter, so I wanted to give you guys a reason as to why I'm talking about depression, as opposed to the typical success and motivation shit that I usually talk about, right? So I had this guy reach out to me a few days ago. He's what he claims to be depressed because he has his own route. He's trying to open up a business, and he is currently receiving a lot of backlash from family and friends and loved ones about him opening up his business. He's receiving a lot of shit because he's embarking on an endeavor that is not typical for his family, not typical for what society sees him as, right? So he's feeling demotivated and upset because he doesn't have people backing his decision. And after talking to him for a little while, I realized that it's pretty common. That is pretty common to happen, right? A lot of people will not back your decisions. They don't want you to leave the box that you're in. If they see you as, a, janitor, you stay a janitor. If they see you as a bartender, you stay a bartender. If you try to leave that occupation, what they're comfortable seeing you as, then they become uncomfortable. And typically, in order to stop you from making them uncomfortable, they tell you that you shouldn't be going down the path that you're going on. So when we were talking and he was telling me that, I realized that that's very standard for anybody trying to open a business or go down a path in general that isn't regular, what quote unquote regular, right? People talk shit, people won't back you, and that's just how it is, unfortunately. Regardless of what route you take, people are going to talk shit, whether it's behind your back, to you, maybe they make a slick little remark or a joke about you, and to you, it matters. To them, they're joking, it's not a big deal, but to you it matters because you have larger ambitions. You have a future that you are seeing for yourself that they don't see. And because you're not falling into the cookie cutter that they want you to, then they just have to, move you back into that, right? So the reason for that depression is just because people aren't backing his decision. And that's unfortunately the way that the world works. There's not many people that are going to back your decision, and there's not many people that are going to be on your side when you're going through in these endeavors. You have to kind of ride it solo. And then at the end, at the finish line, when you start getting some traction, that's when all of a sudden it's, oh yeah, I know when he was doing that. Oh yeah, I know that guy. He's great. I knew him before he started all of it. And unfortunately, it's a lot easier for people to back a proven success than somebody building success. Because building success, it can fail. A lot of businesses fail. But if you don't try, you will never know, right? And it's hard to fail. If you continue working towards it, if you continue doing the right things, it's very hard to fail. But the depression related to this is because people just, unfortunately, people are never going to understand what you are going through. People aren't going to back your decisions. And depression is a very, very prevalent mental disorder, mental illness in the United States and in the world. I believe it's something to the effect of 20% of Americans are or have been depressed. And that's a scary number, because if you don't know how to maneuver your way around depression or maneuver your way around people who don't have your best interests at heart or claim they do but you know they don't, then you can fall victim to this, unfortunately, both depression and anxiety. Because if you're on an endeavor and people aren't backing your decision, those that you love, those that you hold closest to your heart, if they're not backing your decision, unfortunately, that can result in depression, because who's happy about people that they care about not backing their decisions, right? Not backing the path that they want to live their life on. And then that turns into anxiety when now you have to prove them wrong or prove that you know how to do this or you can do this. So now every move that you make is strategic. Every move that you make is calculated. And though it must be, there has to be some wiggle room. There has to be some freedom, because the only way that you're going to succeed in business is by doing it your way. Doing it your way is how you're going to succeed. Everybody can't do everything the same. There has to be someone that steps out of the box, because there's one thing that you offer that nobody else in this world offers, and that's what's going to get you recognized. That's what's going to get you known. That's what's going to move you further down the path of success. And having dealt with anxiety myself for an entirely different reason, but having dealt with anxiety myself, I can promise you, you can take the meds. You can do whatever it takes to deal with your anxiety or depression. But personally, the anxiety that I was dealing with, I finally figured out how to stop it by taking action myself. So first and foremost, you must understand that you cannot hold everybody's opinion to the highest possible standard. You have to realize that certain people can talk. Well, everybody can talk, but you can only listen to certain people. If you're around negative people, if you're around people that aren't comfortable with you moving forward and trying to succeed, then you need to find those that are successful, that are on that path. Because listening to people that aren't on that path or don't understand it, that's going to add to your depression. That's going to add to your sadness. Because when you're on a path, you want to make the people around you, the people most important to you, proud, right? And unfortunately, in order to really pull yourself away from that, you have to detach yourself from external validation. Because at the beginning, no matter what it is that you're doing, people are going to talk shit. You are A, but you want to be Z. And people do not want to see that change happen. And it's a long path. So you're going to be dealing with people talking shit, people not backing your decisions for a while until you get there. But it starts with that first move. You need to start pursuing your future. And it's just small little things, small incremental things that add up to a full-fledged success. But it starts with one. Every day, every minute, every week, every month, you're going to continue doing the right things for you. Because you know that if you work hard, if you do what you need to do to succeed, and you know how to succeed, everybody knows how to succeed. They just don't know how to have that work ethic. I think that's really all it comes down to, is work ethic. Most people don't have a solid work ethic because they weren't raised that way. And in a generation of entitled people, we have this expectation that things are just handed to us. We don't understand that there's work behind all of this. So you must work all the time. And you need to remove the people in your life that are speaking negatively about your future. In my scenario with my anxiety, I removed the person that was causing me anxiety. Then I stepped back and I tried to analyze why that person was causing me to have anxiety. Then I turned and started focusing on the gym, the podcast, the endeavors that I'm taking other than the podcast, my job, everything. I focused on those things that are going to provide me a solid future for me and my family down the line. And when you focus on things that you control, which is working every day, you control the fact that you go to work. You control the fact that you can go to the gym. You control the fact that you can join a fighting gym if you want to feel more confident when you go about your day. You can control all of those things. You cannot control how other people act, speak, or go about their interactions with you. You can't control that. The only thing you can control is how much time you spend around those people. And I promise you, if you find people that are like-minded in the sense that they understand success and back success, those people will keep you out of depression, out of it having anxiety, and they will keep you on the path of success. And for myself, I take this a step further now. So even in my micro interactions, if it's more than a, hey, how you doing? Those people must be positive. Those people must want me to succeed. Those people must not speak negativity on my future. And people that do speak negativity, I do not interact with more than a, hey, how you doing? And a lot of people I've noticed since doing that, a lot of people kind of take it personally, which, good, fuck you, right? Like, I don't need negativity in my life. So there are people that I used to, if I see them or if they text me and they're like, hey, let's go to the bar. I used to just be like, hell yeah, let's go to the bar, let's drink. Now, I don't even answer them. Or if I do, I'll be like, yeah, for sure. And we never make those plans anymore. Whereas previously, I used to be all on that. Okay, what time, when, where, all of that. But those people, unfortunately, they're small thinkers. So if you want for yourself a great, successful, large future, then you can't be doing the same thing that all these people are doing around you. So for myself, for example, I realized that drinking every few days at a bar, getting drunk every few days at a bar with some people who are just satisfied where they are, they're kind of on that same path. You can sense it. Once you pull yourself away from it, you can sense it. There are certain people that are just going to work a job they kind of can deal with until they're 65, 70, and then they're just hoping that they get to that point and retire with enough money to be able to just like live out the rest of their days semi-comfortably and die. So those aren't the people that you want to be around, obviously, right? You want more for yourself. So how are you going to be in your $1 million mansion or in your nice sports cars or in your nice boat and you're still somehow friends with the guy that goes down to the bar down the road, that it's a dive bar and he just drinks Bud Lights and takes shots of, Jameson and talks about how he hates his girl and he hates his family and hates his job and hates his life. How are you two going to how are you going to communicate with that person? How can you possibly sit there and have a conversation with a person who hates where they are, and in the meantime, you're on a path where you're consistently growing, little by little. But unfortunately, with these people, you can't just talk about success, right? And I've tried that myself. Try it yourself. Shit. Why don't you try it yourself and see? I've tried it myself. I'm currently in a real estate venture, and I wanted to bring friends of mine up into that, right? I wanted to, have the people around me closest to me, I wanted them to succeed. And when having those conversations, those are uncomfortable conversations for regular people. They hear the numbers that you're talking about, the price. They hear about the work that's required to do this. And it kind of makes them uncomfortable. So the conversation is a real quick in and out. But those same people, if I bring up a conversation about, a girl across the bar or a girl that we were on a boat with a couple weeks ago, now all of a sudden we're having a 30, 45 minute conversation, laughing and enjoying life. Like, those are the people that you're taking their opinion of you serious. And you can't do that. If a kid said something to you about your future, you'd be like, oh, whatever, because it's a kid. These grown-ass adults who don't know how to make anything of themselves, they're basically just grown-ass kids. That's all they are. They party still. They're living paycheck to paycheck. They're falling behind on bills. Or their best case scenario, they are making enough money to pay for their bills and pay for their groceries and just living a regular, mundane life. But either way, that's not you. That's not me. So you can't take the words that come out of these people's mouths as serious as you do. And once you remove these people and stop taking their opinion seriously, that's when you realize, this is way better, right? So instead of maybe having 20 friends that you talk to on a daily basis and you try to talk to them and try and make plans with them, pull back. Maybe you need three or four friends, 5 friends maybe, and then acquaintances that when you see out in public, it's like, oh, hey, how you doing? Maybe a quick little 30-second chat and you're out. But you don't need a bunch of friends, because though having a lot of people know you and having a lot of friends exudes status, and we all know everybody wants status and wants to show status by buying expensive cars that they can't afford, buying expensive clothes that they can't afford, jewelry, so on and so forth, right? Taking vacations and making sure that they get as many pictures as possible of them on vacation in Bali or in Thailand because I'm rich. I got it like that. No, you don't. You don't have it like that at all. You know that. So while you're trying to make your life social media friendly or make it so you're popping on social media, who gives a fuck if you're the most popular person in your small town? Doesn't really mean nothing, right? You're trying to look like a celebrity while living in a small town. If you move to the large town, now you're nobody, because you can't fake what they're doing for real. You can't do that. You can't fake actual status. You can't fake actual money. You can fake it for Instagram, right? You could, rent a sports car, which many people have got caught doing as well, right? You can't take everything that you see on social media seriously because people fake it all the time. But back to what I was saying, these people that are only doing this shit for social media to look like they got it like that, those people are the most miserable, because not only are they not happy with where they are, they know it. So they understand that they are somewhere they don't want to be, and instead of, taking 5-6 steps back and working, hitting the gym every day to get their body to where they want it to be, dieting strict every day to get their body to where they want to be, putting in the work in their extracurricular endeavors, putting in the work in their businesses, putting the work, maybe they want a podcast too, putting in the work for that. Instead of doing that, they are focusing 100% on just going to their dead-end 9-to-5 job, coming home, and then putting on a nice designer shirt and some chains and getting in their 2001 Mercedes and driving downtown and going to a bar or a club to flex. Give me a fucking break. you're not shit. And you know that, which is why you're doing all of this. In order to become the person you want to become, you have to be different than the rest. And the second that you play into this social media flex culture is the second you lose. Are those Jordans really important to you? Are those chains really important to you? Is that car really important to you? Or are you just doing it so you look cool for other people? Because in all honesty, that shit, if it doesn't mean anything to you, in reality, be honest with yourself, then why the fuck are you doing it? You're doing it for other people. So you're living your life for other people. And that's not a way to go through life. So figure out what it is that you want to do and understand that you will be ridiculed. People will talk shit. That's a 100% guarantee. A 100% guarantee. People are going to ridicule you. People are going to talk shit both to your face and behind your back. Your friends, your family, everybody is going to shit on you because you're doing something different. But you understand that it takes time and effort and work to get to where you want to be. So why don't you, take a step back and give yourself those 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 years, maybe 10 years. But do the right things every single day. The small wins are what add up to the future that you want, the future that I want. It's doing the right thing every day. It's not doing one grand thing. It's the small things. The small things will always add up to your end goal. And give yourself a timeline, right? So if you want to, if you're trying to do real estate, if you want to own 2, 3, 4 properties, don't give yourself 2, 3, 4 years. Give yourself a year or 2 to own all those properties. And I believe it was Jordan Peterson that said this. Or no, it was Elon Musk. I apologize. It was Elon Musk that said this. If you give yourself 3 months to clean your house, you will clean your house in 3 months. If you give yourself 3 hours to clean your house, you will clean your house in 3 hours. You can do whatever the fuck you want to do, but you need to put your mind to it. So give yourself a deadline and give yourself strict deadlines. Don't just say in about. No. You will have it done in 3 hours, 3 months, 3 years. You will have it done. If you're trying to get properties, 2 houses in a year. Simple as that. 2 properties in a year. Simple as that. Give yourself that deadline, an actual date, and then break that down even more. How much money do I need by this date, and by this date, and by this date, and by this date? And that will make everything so much easier. But you have to understand that in order to succeed, you have to kind of take a few steps back, reevaluate your life, reevaluate your social circle. You can't just always be succeeding. It's impossible. But you know you're on the right path when other people start talking shit. Because people don't talk shit about people that are just losers, right? People don't really pay them any mind. But if you're on the right path, you're going to get shit on. You're going to have people talking about you behind your back. You're going to have all that. And that's how you know you're on the right path. So instead of taking the negativity of others and becoming upset that you don't have that external validation, why don't you take that and think to yourself, wait, if they're talking shit, then they're thinking about me. If they're thinking about me and they're bothered by me, then I must be doing something right. Because when is the last time that you've sat and thought about somebody who was insignificant and just working at McDonald's? Never. No offense to anyone working at McDonald's. You guys are great too. Probably on your path as well. But needless to say, right, if somebody's doing a dead-end job, if someone's, 50 years old and working, the drive-thru at McDonald's, they're kind of past where you can be, right? I mean, you could always get better, but When's the last time you thought about that person? When's the last time you heard someone talking shit about that person? Never. But when's the last time you heard someone talking shit about somebody opening a business? Somebody starting a podcast? Somebody doing something with their life other than the regular 9 to 5? That happens all the time. I have 2 brothers. One's a musician and one works on business signage and vehicle reps, right? And those 2, I've heard it personally myself from family and other people around us. They've both had people speaking negatively about what they're trying to do because it's different. And until they got to a point where they were visibly successful in the endeavors that they respectfully have chosen to go on, until they were visibly successful, people were talking shit. And then all of a sudden, as soon as they had that visible success, oh, I always knew he was going to do it. Oh, I always knew it was a great idea. Oh, yeah, that's my buddy. That's my friend, my best friend since elementary school. That. They were the ones talking shit. They were the ones that weren't backing it. So, who gives a fuck what other people say? You're going to succeed. And everyone else will just have to wait at the finish line and say, yeah, they knew you, right? They used to be friends with you. You guys used to be cool. So why don't you just work on that? And when you hear the negativity, understand that it means you're on the right path and you're going to keep hearing negativity. Even when you're at the top, people are going to talk shit. Regardless. People always got an opinion. Because if you're living a mundane, normal 9 to 5 job kind of life, you need some type of excitement, and it's not coming from your life, so you kind of got to talk shit about people, right? It's that small thinking. We don't do that over here. I appreciate you guys for watching today. If you have any questions at all, comments, or anything like that, feel free to DM me. I answer all my DMs, whether it's on my personal Instagram, the In Progress Instagram, or the YouTube channel. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for this video, and I'll catch you guys next time.